Just gonna wait, let some people get on. What's up, y'all? I'm just gonna put this joint on right quick, and then we're gonna get into it. Let's do that. All right. So, if folks can do me a favor and just check the background, check my background. Um, just be familiar with people when they're talking, what work they've been doing. All right, I'm gonna let some folks get on. So, how y'all doing? All right, peace, y'all. Okay. I'm at my father's house right now. I had to do some personal things, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna just have to do the talk there. My father has a dog named Malcolm, um, and the dog occasionally makes a lot of noise. So bear with me when that happens. I don't know if y'all saw this shirt before. So that's our first shirt, Black Veg Fest. That was my first shirt, Black Veg Fest. Yo, we gonna get to this, okay? Um, yeah. So first off, I would like to thank Hunter Gwenna for opening up the space. Uh, incredibly, so it's pretty incredible. Thank you, sis. And listen, I'm gonna be unapologetic on a lot of things, not just Black people, but that's foremost what I'm unapologetic about, and a number of other things. Black women. Um, we also talking about animals, just being unapologetic, about that. But let me be really clear. So, and how you can actually do that. We're going to talk about intersectionality, quite a bit. The first thing I want to do is, so this is mainly, and just kind of frame this. So my name is Omowale Adewale. I'm the founder of Black Veg Fest, and we have a nice team right now. It's nine organizers. We always growing and building. And so when we do this work, and it needs to be unapologetically Black, meaning in the sense that when I'm speaking for Black people, I'm not speaking, because of my job. I'm not speaking and then thinking, well, I do have this job here, so I got to be comfortable. I got to watch how I'm talking, so I want to address, the Black community, pretty much 90% of this conversation, and allow folks to understand, how we get that. And so by the way that we explain these things and people are just open to the information, you kind of know who might be your allies. But that's just the beginning seed of understanding that, right? So keep in mind that people are going to act like allies, and some people are actually going to be real allies, but you really, it's a long-term, it's long-term organizing. It's not just, that person is automatically an ally because they posted something focusing on Black people, right? And so we know this, and we just need to be careful, with that. So I've been getting some things straightened because I was having a personal conversation with my father before he left, and there's so much going on in my life, and so that's kind of just the pretext anyway, that there's so many things going on in Black folks' lives before we even we even recognized as being Black, before we even respected, before that's even a situation where we even have to think about. So I'm not going to see a lot of stuff, I think. Let me see, because the stuff goes down to the bottom. So it goes down to okay, all right. So I'm seeing the latest stuff. Peace, y'all. So it's a lot of folks that's that's all. This is a lot for me, because one, I am not a celebrity. A lot of folks would be disagreeing with that because y'all just be around, veganism, and y'all see me talking about veganism for so long. And then also we feel like we got to look up to celebrities, and so I'm not one, and we don't need to look up to celebrities. That's just, I don't know if there'll be time to even get into that, but let me get right into it. So first off, the Black community is not required to engage white people to be responsible. There is significant amount of like miscommunication around that, even when we talk about the 7 points of allyship. So I work with organizers. I work with organizers who've been doing this decades, decades long, and I've been doing it decades long, and I have a good, understanding of like what's happening historically, and it's totally understandable that folks won't recognize that. So, but how we've been so far understanding our connection, our relationship to the white community, and we talking especially about white vegans to do the actions and the work. Well, we choose white vegans because they're already doing the actions, already doing the work, already committed to compassion, and those who are not committed to 100% compassion for sentient beings need to be outed, right? So let's be very clear about that. So when black folks have an issue in terms of like whether if I'm, the right person to be doing this. First off, you got to understand something. If we had been on a basketball team and if you already seen me dropping 20 points and you kind of just getting in the game and kind of getting your feet wet and really don't even know the ins and outs and everything, a lot of people who have been doing this work, they kind of had a conversation, to kind of get control over the conversation. The thing about politics is so awesome, but so confusing is because like everybody needs to vote, right? But then that like if you don't do if you don't focus on housing and homelessness, should you be the person talking about housing and homelessness, right? So when we talk about politics, there are some folks who've been doing this for like 3, 4, 5, 6 decades. You know what I mean? The folks have been doing that housing work. So I would be checking in with them and seeing how we can make changes on policy. And so we understanding that there's something in terms of experience, in terms of background that you have. So that's why I gave folks the 20 years of work that I've been doing. If you've been kind of doing this in 5 years, you literally asking me to go ahead and stop everything to listen to you in your 5 years when there's other folks who want to actually be in the conversation who've been doing it for like 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Like, so I already have elders. I'm a Panther Cub. You know, I should start off with that. My mother was a Panther from 69 to 71. She was 16 when she became a Panther and was doing this particular work for the same reason that I do this work. For the same reason why people are going out and doing this work right now. So I want folks to be very clear about that. You know, so I'm a Panther Cub. So I'm talking to Panther Cubs, you know, or I'm talking to folks who've been doing the kind of work, the organizing to kind of get that done. And so that needs to be necessary. So I want to address that. From that perspective. And that's how you can be unapologetically Black, because you would know the history, the work that's being done, and you have a commitment to Black people. I'm going to actually just drop this here, and y'all let me know if the audio is not right. Okay, so the politic is not that we shouldn't engage the white community about Black justice. I want to be really clear because there's a lot of folks that's kind of just new into the work, and it feed off our anxiety. We don't want to address white folks. We're not addressing y'all. We don't want to address y'all. You know what I mean? As a collective, because, well, you give us anxiety. You know, so that's what makes it difficult. So them folks use that anxiety, and then, you know, will be like, well, I don't know such and such. You know what I mean? Well, you got to, you know, be in the work to know some of the folks who are in there. You know what I mean? You know, so you're trying to get money, but you don't know all the billionaires, right? You're trying to get, you know, money, but you don't know all the millionaires. You know what I mean? So you're trying to get all the Jordans. Wouldn't it make sense to kind of know if all the, you know, the models that came out under Jordans, you know, are true and authentic? So we kind of go through that space and have this conversation and learning and like who's actually providing it. But the politic is not that we shouldn't engage the white community about Black justice, because we do, but we don't, and we don't have to. Like, you don't, and you don't have to, because it's super grueling. I know this for years. As soon as you start talking about things, white folks take their money and they out, right? So I know why you don't want to talk about it. You know, I know why a lot of folks don't want to talk about it, you know, unless they actually have money and they have significance. So we got to really grapple on that, you know, really hold that through. Is the politic of ignoring white folks, you know, detrimental to us? You know what I mean? Because right now, like, folks are like, well, I don't want to kind of deal with them because, you know, this and so on and so forth, but we getting shot anyway. You know, so the latest analysis says that waiting for white folks to get it right is deadly. I ain't about to wait for white folks to get it right. I ain't about to wait for the cops to be defunded. It's just not sensible. It's really just a poor politic right now, right? And so it's actually not even that old, right? That we really started thinking about that, you know, because we were doing that in the 60s. You know, there was a particular time when we were talking about SNCC, right? So SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, right, gave laid the work, you know, for Black Panthers to do it, but also Malcolm X laid that work down for Black Panthers to do that. And so you know that Malcolm X was talking to white folks, right? So you know SNCC, who also had a membership of white folks, you know, they were talking to white folks. You know that Black Panthers had, you know, white folks until when they told white folks to leave, right? And leave the organization, right? And because it was really still trying to figure out exactly now how do white folks like fit in into us being organizing, so we still organizing right now. But so a lot of folks are just coming with a really stale politic. And I say still because, well, first thing I'm always gonna be wondering, you got to come with a particular work history before we start debating the work, and what's theoretically important and what's not. Now, I'm going to go into some things why it's necessary, and it's not going to take that long on why we have to engage white folks. Um, so, so check this out. You already engage with white folks daily, all the time, just off of on their terms and off their conditions. And guess what? They know this. But I know this, that they know this. You should know this and be aware of that situation, right? So when they're in particular jobs, and so when they ask you, like, I'm not racist, am I? And they'll ask you, they know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, well, that's my friend. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's my friend, so I can totally, you know what I mean, whatever. So it's they're having these cheap conversations, and they know that they can get that past you, right? And so a lot of this work that's going to be coming out, that what they're doing is sharing. I don't need y'all to share, a post with just my name. Talk about the particular work that I'm doing and how you're being engaged in that, right? So that's necessary. So you're not helping. I'm talking to white folks, right? You're not helping by just sharing posts with a whole bunch of other black folks, because I'm not even saying the same thing that some folks are saying, right? We're not all saying the same thing. Like, how you gonna put like athletes and artists and food enthusiasts and you know what I'm saying, and doctors with organizers and or just mix them up and so on? Like, you're not even trying to do organized, like assistance on this. That's not allyship. That's not allyship. You know what I mean? So therefore, they gotta be walked through. White folks got to be walked through this entire process. So what do we do normally? You know what I mean? Like I don't want folks to be doing anything on my behalf, and I don't know if you're going to do it right, right? Because what happens if I were to go and I mean explain why it might even be difficult for white folks to do that, right? But I ask black folks, like, what are we going to do? What's so on and so forth? You ain't got a clue. You really don't even know where to start, and that's just a lot of folks, and that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. That's cool. Guess what? When we play basketball, guess what? We have some people who are good at rebounding, some people who are good at scoring. Sometimes they're good at a number of things, but you do what you can do. Okay. And you allow folks who know and understand, and that can also, do that particular work. So, and I'm gonna name some things and how you have these interactions with white folks every single day on their terms, on their conditions. All right, let me read what somebody's saying. What Omari just said: ask people from organized groups and affected communities if they wish to speak on an issue that impacts them. They might have been working on the issue much longer than you, so they are likely to have additional insights. Very true. Very, very true. But I'm going a step further. I'm also talking, telling folks that like when we're communicating right now, play the ear and zero. Like, let's do just a little bit of radio silence when you don't know what you are talking about, when you are not in the work. How do we know if somebody's unapologetic? The things that they're saying. If I talk about building, like we got to put our wealth together and so on and so forth, and doing this, that might be cool, but I also might have a business, and I also might be focusing on that business. If I talk about, we need to do this and work with Coca-Cola, which we turned down last year, work with Coca-Cola and so on and so forth. Yeah, I don't think you're unapologetic. I don't think you're really going to support black folks, because why would we bring a soda company, to an event that is largely about health, right? Also, they're not actually kind to animals, right? When we talk about Coca-Cola. So we need to be very clear exactly, how we're speaking and how we're talking. So it's very easy. And also a lot of folks I'm going to be real clear before I even go through a lot of this. Our conversations about being unapologetic is so incredibly important because when you lump all of us in together and you try to talk to us, about this, some black folks are like, cool, you're gonna help me get some money. Me, I don't give a fuck how much money you can actually get me, unless, what I'm saying, you can be tied to the work. You're gonna be asking other folks, who gonna take that money, ain't gonna do no kind of work with that. So that's why I ask a lot of times, what I'm saying, folks, like, if you an athlete, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, speak unapologetically. But if that's feels like you can just do that, you go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of folks that are just really just moving on and focusing on the funds. If you were to look at my funds, I guarantee, like, what I'm saying, pretty much all of y'all gonna have more money than me. You know what I'm saying? But that's the price of organizing. So I'm not asking people to even go that depth with me because the contract's gonna look funny. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to get work, when you're trying to get resources, that's gonna look funny. Because folks they're not trying to give you money to build your self-determination. And so that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So folks are like, okay, well, what about this whole 7 points of, what I'm saying, of allyship? Well, that's talking about changing the terms and conditions. You already at your job, when we talk about work and promotion and raises, you at the mercy of white folks every single day, right? And so that's not a crazy point. That's not conspiracy theory. We know that white folks are running, 96% of the country. We know that when we talk about media, that the white folks are running, upwards of 95% of media. So when they're even talking about other shit, about like Black Lives Matter, I'm like, yo, stop. What you talking about? We don't even run the media. So your whole game is corny. It's not making any sense. Right? So we don't run anything. So when we talk about we don't want to speak, we really don't want to stand up. That's what we need to say. Oh, I don't want them speaking. We really don't want to stand up. And I understand that. And everybody should understand that. Because, what I'm saying, speaking up, we lose our job. We lose our jobs. Hello? That's, when we talk about in education, your kids got scholarships to these white schools, and you're going to be like, what I'm saying? I don't think he should be trying to organize white folks. You just filled out an application to a predominantly white school that has a white board. What are you talking about? You engage with them every single day, but on their terms and conditions. Even if you're talking about an HBCU. Hello, we ain't gonna go to the history. I ain't trying to kill, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not gonna go to HBCU, but we know how those were started. Okay, so we're gonna pass through those. So understand we always dealing with it. Leisure, relaxation, time at the gym, spa, yoga studio, just a vegan festival. So boom, so that's the intersect. So that's how we come into the game, right? So Black Veg Fest, when we come in and making it a black space, right? That we run this space. And in order to do that, you got to be unapologetically black for all people, for all black people, right? And then you just got to be, you got to raise your level, what I'm saying, way past white folks, right? Well, because we're going to be inclusive of everybody to come through. We state that right on the website. As soon as we came out the first year, we said we inclusive of everybody. But as long as you understand that we black, we unapologetically black. So we've been saying that, we've been banging on that. And so, and you see me on the public post. I'm public, when I'm talking this, so on and so forth. It's gonna catch on, but we gotta light fires. So that's what Malcolm X did. So Malcolm X, when I'm thinking 59, but folks can go ahead and give me the right date. I believe 59 was the first year that Malcolm X was actually, or anybody was in the public view, right? And so they had ample time to actually explain what it looked like for self-determination for black people. And so Malcolm X is speaking, right? And he's talking about the conditions and the situation. And also, and so let me tell you, at that particular time, a lot of y'all black folks ain't no different than now, but y'all was even more scared back then. Y'all was like, oh my goodness. Y'all in New York. Y'all was in New York, the most liberal city. I'm born and raised, Brooklyn, New York. Okay? So understand, when he said this, you can just be lynched on any block. You really can just be snatched, which your blackness can really be snatched. You understand? and you have nothing to say about that. That's terms and conditions that you don't put down, like not with a particular plan, right? So we weren't doing that. And so a lot of folks were afraid. But also we talking about white folks, like we have like love relationships with white folks. Whether some of folks, have a problem with that or not, at the end of the day, we talking about there being black children like Barack Obama, right? Who had a white mother, or some have a white father. So we can't even get around that question of not dealing with them. Like we almost like we gonna put on earmuffs and we gonna put on blinders, and we're allowed to just, well, I hope white folks be cool today. I hope I get that scholarship. I worked my behind off. I'm really hoping I get that loan at that bank. I really need that promotion. I did some work. You know what I'm saying? Like I done did this being unapologetic for a long time, and I'm seeing where it's got me, right? Um, it's been able to me to know who are allies, who are resourceful, who is helpful, and who's going to be there on a consistent basis. I understand this is lifelong. Folks being committed to that work, y'all got to be lifelong with that. Y'all probably might have an issue with that, but that y'all probably just might not have the same the stamina that we have. We're dealing with this on a consistent basis, so we need white folks to be consistent the whole way out. You know what I mean? And we say we need resources for this particular thing, and you saying that you around, you totally for empowering black people. You totally for economic development. You're not talking it. You're not making a speech. You're working. You're doing that on a regular basis. When organizers speak to you, we talking about organizers. We're not talking about no entrepreneurs. Stop posting me with entrepreneurs. I love them. I also bring them to Black Veg Fest. In the thousands, we brought people. But I want to be very clear. That is not activism. You are not helping. If you going ahead and doing that, we're going to be like, yeah, support them. Yeah, definitely support them. But don't be trying to act like we just needed to get, promotion out there. That's slick. Don't try to act like we just want to. We come for the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? The whole system got to be changed. You know what I mean? Defunding the police, everywhere. We talking about loans because we talking about the history of redlining that made it impossible for us to get housing. I'm right now trying to get a home, and I can't tell you how much anxiety I have that if these motherfuckers know what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? They might be like on some slick shit, and then like, how do you actually like, how do you argue that? You know what I mean? Being black. So it's a long term, feeling of having anxiety, right? So yeah. So I'm gonna go through a little bit of the comments, that just came up. So I don't want to ignore y'all. I hope y'all don't mind. Black people should not have to spend emotional labor teaching white people how to be actively non-racist. Yes, white people need to listen and amplify voices, but they also need to do the work. Correct. Right. Exactly. I hope you listening. Sadly true. And look, when the black community prove they can rise up, we get killed. Yep. Tulsa, right, exactly. And we trying to go to Tulsa. We'll talk about that a little bit. Trump said that he's not gonna have it on, he's gonna have it on the next day. But I'm hoping that people on the ground still banging. I'm still looking to be there, so do support that. I strongly believe in speaking out. Believe speaking out got me laid off. It definitely did, sis. Tiffany, it definitely did. White folks definitely, they fired you for that. And white folks got to be like, we're going to get our job back. That's what we need. And we holding folks to it. Because what this is either going to do when we talk about the 7 points of allyship, recognize that we have an ally who can be like a John Brown, right? Okay, so John Brown, if folks know some of the history, was a white man. He brought his white sons, and on Harper's Ferry, tried to lead a raid, and they were captured. He was killed. They also had, of course, you had black folks there. Former slaves. Also, He actually helped get some slick. So when folks, if you're not at that level, it's a hard level. But if you're not at that level, you questionable because you allowed this situation to go on for so long. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is accountable for right now. You know, so I want to be very clear about that. Um, so I'm gonna go forward. Um, so when we communicate with white folks, we talking about new terms and conditions, and that's what we and that's really the relationship. So I want people to really go and find the 7 points of allyship and exactly what that means, right? Do you want people to understand with the 7 points of allyship and actually how to find them? They're on Black Veg Fest. Um, they easy to understand. I'm gonna go through some of them. I'm gonna go through all of them, okay? And I want people to really have this information. I want the Black community to understand like why they important, right? And why some folks are doing it. So why like we don't want to have to do it, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna leave it up to white folks to do the shit. You know what I'm saying? You ever try to leave up, a job to some folks and they do it wrong? How about purposely wrong? So so y'all could do that, and I feel like that's just like the hope and pray philosophy. It's like, well, I hope they be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be doing whatever you doing, and we're gonna get to what our community needs to be doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and read off the 7 points, and so white folks who are reading this and understanding it, please go to blackvegfest.org, find out how to get into work, make a donation, look for actions. I've seen some people fill out stuff and then they just be like, and they'll put like just nonsense, talking about what they've been doing. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is supposed to be, it's just unfiltered, speak too. I don't care what you've been doing. Like, we talking about what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about, the work right now. We talking about the work right now. It's like, well, why am I going to be like, oh, I done did some work 20 years strong. You know what I mean? I was already in Nigeria organizing and bringing healthcare, bringing medicine there and organizing doctors here at 28. Before Bernie even tried to do that, that was 2005. Literally 5 years before Bernie even put that in the Senate, okay? Before Bernie put that in the Senate. So when y'all be going off and putting Bernie in your mouth or any of these elected officials, I'm like, wow, that's funny because I got a call from John Conyers' office for the hearings in 2004 and 2006. I forgot about that. 6 years. Make that 6 years. And so that's information. All these congressional hearings, you can find this information out online. Do some research and find out. And so the bill number was HR 676. That was universal health care. And it was sponsored first by John Conyers. Okay, now they don't even talk about universal health care, aka Medicare for all. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, we've been doing the work. And so when I say that, like, there are folks who do this work, they kind of put their head down and just muscle through it. But let me help. Thank you. So we're gonna go through the 7 points real quick. So first, apply vegan ethics to compassion to Black lives in defense of Black people, right? So when we say this, we saying like, well, the same thing that you hold true, about animals, you need to be consistent about Black people, right? Don't jump over your own species, to go and protect those who can't tell you specifically what you need to do, right? So there are vegans who have animals and there are vegans who don't have animals. And their philosophy, and it's a philosophy why, some vegans like myself don't have animals. I live in a small apartment. I don't need to have an animal in there because they can't move around. Now, if you talking about rescues and you organizing around rescues, I totally understand what you're talking about. Because somebody else wasn't able to do it. I totally support animal sanctuaries. It makes sense. But in terms of having them in your home and calling them a pet and so on and so forth, I'm not going to rail against that. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I'm for. I assume that you're being pleasant with the animal, but that's what I'm gonna say. So the compassion needs to also be extended to the Black community. Anything else is just fake. Respect Black face. That's number two. Respect Black space. When we tell you this is our space, don't come in that space. And then if you need to be in that space, let me tell you, when you want to be in that space, you ask organizers, right? And then you go where the organizers might have been able to tell you. Like, we're going to write on a website. Go to the website. You don't need to be stopping me on the street. You don't need to be asking other Black folks ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't do that. Go to the website and be proactive about that. So you find on the website and it's like, oh shit, I can be there. You know what I'm saying? And so far, you know what I'm saying? White folks been on their best behavior. I don't know about other events, you know what I'm saying, that's out there. But Black Vet Fest, folks already know we ain't tolerating bullshit. You know what I mean? So I know folks be wanting to they be 100% into schooling people all the time. Y'all need to school over here. You know what I'm saying? Because we bringing thousands of Black faces, right to the streets. This ain't none of those other folks that be talking and online and doing these talks and so on and so. Nah, this organizer be on the ground and we talk some shit a little bit, but really we just dedicated to the work that's on the ground. And so when we say Black space, so we're gonna do in Black Veg Fest, we'll have a space, have a space in there, right? And that's for Black folks to be in there for community, for building. Let me tell you why we need this space. I'm gonna tell Black folks why we need the space for community, for building. You've been taken through that middle passage, purposely leaving your attachment, your connection to the continent, to the motherland, to Africa, to the food that's there, to the languages. You understand? Like, you rip from that. So when we in a space, we're building and we're learning from each other. We're relearning. So white folks shouldn't even be feeling like, oh shit, I think I need to go ahead and be in. You don't need to say shit. Stop over speaking. Chill. Relax. You don't need to be in that space all the time. You know what I mean? And just listen to what Black folks, say that, to you. But always, if you're trying to understand something, you're trying to learn, what did I say? Go to the organizers. Stop asking your fucking friend. Please. You just stressing your friend out. You really just not a friend, actually, because I'm going to tell you what it is, regardless of how you act towards it. You know what I mean? Like, trust me. So we done turned down we done turned down billion dollar businesses, firms out there. I done been approached, you know what I'm saying, by folks, vegan brand that work under Kraft. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to be honest about what we do, and what we gonna tolerate, So maybe we gonna be poor, but the integrity gonna allow us to, to be able to have resources around the world, as long as you support your organizers that's supporting you. You understand? So number 3, support calls for ending police murder and misconduct, but do that under the protocols and the contingency plans that Black folks put in front of you. Okay? We put those in front of you, like how are we going to move right now when we talk about protests, anything that relates to us. We need to have the ownership and the leadership, to that particular that space. And you need to be able to allow that to actually happen, as you would do that with animals, and allow us to build and connect and tell you how to make us safe. So we talking about defunding the police. I really mean it. I know there's some Black folks that are talking about, like, we ain't really mean defunding and police. I'm like, yeah, we do. The fuck, they're killing us. Yes, we do. We do believe that. Yeah, I'm totally with that. Community, we talking about so, because when people even challenge that, it's to say that Black folks can't really decide for ourselves in our own community that we're incompetent. We're only incompetent when y'all purposely trip us up in our own block. How most of the stops tied to marijuana, but all the dispensaries around the country, they white, tiny bit of black. So when I'm talking family, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this from a historical point of view where it makes sense. It don't make sense for police to be walking around here with guns and everything that's tied to them is to lock up black folks. They got a job sustaining their family on leaving our families and our community unstable. No, they need to be dissolved. Um, we don't need y'all in the community. I mean, you could police yourselves. Why would y'all be like what you like police you're policing the other communities. Don't come in here, you know. So we got things that we doing right now. So so I can totally understand that. I think people get the politics mixed up. You know, that we should be telling cops and white folks, how to actually perform in our community, right? How they work in our community, and but why? But ask the question, like why? Because we dying when y'all here. We don't get the funding that we need to build and sustain. We sustaining y'all. Y'all giving us a raise. Y'all giving us a job. Fuck that. Y'all just working for a raise? No, we're not. You know what I mean? So police ends up quelling any kind of disagreement we have with the state. So we saying no. If it's not we know we dealing with some other there's some criminality, but marijuana, but the stops, all of this, the stops and frisks are overwhelmingly, we talking about 80% was bullshit, nonviolent stuff, right? So number 4, white organizers mobilizing white forces on behalf of black people. Now, some of y'all are gonna be like, they can't do this, they won't do this, and so on and so forth. There's some of them that will do that, but what did I say before? Like, leave that to the organizers. You know what I'm saying? Like, questions is definitely, is necessary. It's important. We have a conversation, but trust the organizers who've been doing this work. Trust the history. You know what I mean? There's a lot of this folks that are doing this work now are like I said, we're tied to the folks. We literally, as a Panther Cub, we were just organizing with, like former Panthers to do this action on Sunday, to this protest, and we feeding people on Sunday. So we in the streets, we doing this particular work. That work need to be supported by everybody. You know what I'm saying? But white folks, y'all are not helping. Y'all think y'all helping out. It's not helping. It's you doing what you need to be doing in this particular community. Same way you look at it with when you talking about why you ethical as a vegan, right? You're not looking for the animals to be like, oh, thank you very much. It was pretty awesome. Sometimes y'all are, a lot of times y'all are, but you totally understand if you don't get appreciated because I love cats, but cats don't give a fuck about me. Cats don't care. Cats doing whatever they want to, and that's fine by me. You know what I'm saying? It's a damn cat. You know what I mean? Like, so cats know what it is. I know what it is. So we organize, so there's white folks, on here that have been doing a lot of this work. They both in New York. It's 2 folks right now. And Ali is on here, Leo's on here, and folks are going to get to y'all and work with the white community. So so just so black folks know, we working with with organizers who are on the ground who totally understand the white community. Folks familiar with Ali. Ali led the work for not just the fur ban, which it didn't happen, but foie gras ban in New York City, and a number of those issues. So so those folks have been shown to have the history and the work. So we talking about animal rights activists who do the work, but they totally understand intersectional violence, intersectionality as is recognizing your oppression, but also recognizing where your resources, lie, lie right now. But to make sure that we give integrity to it, what I'm saying, working with them through the long haul. That the issues that we need to have addressed, we had a relationship on that. So just the relationship is principle. You don't have a relationship that's principle at your job. You generally do not, unless you own it. You don't have a principal relationship at your job. A lot of times even at your school, you know what I mean, where people can, say yes and no totally on 100% based on the facts, on principle and rational understanding. No, it's a lot of times, how many times we've been beaten out of jobs because, what I'm saying, the boss like a white person that they could recognize a whole lot better, right? Um, and so I've literally been told that. Hey, listen, believe us when we tell you the first time. So we're gonna tell you how to organize. How do you organize? Because so far, y'all been doing a very poor job in doing that particular work, right? So number 5, respect Black lives. This is all Black people. So you respecting Black people. You're not just respecting and listening to me because I have a voice. I have a big voice, and I'm cisgendered, heterosexual Black man, right? But you respecting all Black lives, Black LGBTQIA plus. You ain't listening to other, because I literally have listened to other white folks who listen to other Black folks who are cisgendered, heterosexual Black males, and then use that to undermine Black LGBTQIA plus folks. Only come to unapologetic Black voices. You know what I'm saying? And then we need to refute as a community anything that is dividing us, because it is about conquering us. And it, like, we talking about, we want justice. You know what I mean? White folks like, well, I don't know about that. Well, let me see. Like, I feel like y'all got enough right now, and that's the conversations always, tend to go. So respect all Black lives. I mean, do I need to go more into that? We talk about those who don't present as as able-bodied, and those who you are not sure if they're able-bodied. So all Black people, regardless of their class, as well. Yeah, Black trans lives matter. Very true. So we need to be clear on that. And so this idea of masculinity, like, I don't have to, we don't have to pretend to be, tough. Well, it's easier for me not to have to do that, because as fighters, I don't, there's not a lot of fighters that go around like trying to, be tough. We're comfortable knowing that people are not just gonna come to us, like that. So it's a different understanding of masculinity, totally. And you're never looking at masculinity as if it's a whole. You have some pieces of femininity, and women have some masculine energy as well, or non-binary have, a combination, of it. And even if we don't even know any of this, we just need to respect Black lives. That shit's easy, So we're gonna go forward to number 6, and we're gonna wrap this part up. White financial resources. So when white folks make their resources, you need to understand that your resources come as a result of our situation. So whenever you forget that, that like history is not tied together. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times y'all want to just like, oh, it's the end. You know what I mean? Okay, everything is good now. Y'all are freed, and you know what I mean? Like y'all know that's don't make any sense. You know what I mean? You know that your very dollars go to a business, right? That you work for, and over 50 years, that business is growing. And say you work for that company for 20 years, you know damn well you helped that company go from, zero to whatever millions they're making, right? So you totally understand that, but you become like confused that black folks should even be, talking about redistribution. How would that be? Um, we are the pedestal to which you actually stand and and make funds. If we talk about Black Wall Street, if we talk about Rosewood, if we talk about 1919, Red Summer, anything that we have, any little thing that was going on, any little violence, you know what I'm saying, was an excuse to go ahead and destroy black business, to undermine us politically, and then to come back later on, or like, why y'all can't pick yourself up by your bootstraps? We do that every single time. As soon as you feel like we taking too much of the resources, we taking any of the resources, y'all got a problem. Like y'all got a problem with the Mexicans, doing particular jobs that y'all don't even want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is a disease, but I ain't gonna let y'all get off the hook with that bull. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to pay for this particular disease and doing that work. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely necessary. 100%. And you need to, pay with dollars. You know what I'm saying? So we got out, what's out there. You all you need to do is go ahead and support those brands. You don't need it, and support us and support. And that does not mean that you are helping and that we need to be like, oh, thank you. I thank folks because I just being cordial, because I'm also a nice person. You know what I mean? That I rather, give be pleasant. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of fighters, are when they have that understanding. It allows you to kind of just calm yourself. It allows a calm. But don't think you are in need or you supposed to receive a thank you. So you doing the work, we see it. That's appreciated. You doing the work. We will see it. But there's a lot of folks who've done some of the work and then they've left the work and they've left us high and dry. We talk about white media, right now, and I just talked about, 95% plus of the media is white. Black Lives Matter is going through individuals. It's not like the media is not trying to promote. Like why are we not even seeing what's going on with the protests on Facebook and on Instagram? Why? When we know I've been in the marches and folks got their cameras up. Why is that not coming up? Why is like there's a significant amount of coverage that is missing directly from the people, right? And so we have to rely. We literally at the mercy of white media right now. These cats want to talk about the riots so much. They want to talk about the riots so much, and it's like it literally fucking with me. That they want to just talk about the riot and like what? Like you miss so many people that got killed. Like every day we talking about somebody, who's getting harassed and beat up, like a bunch of people, like not on camera. You know how much shit we gonna find out later on, even while this is going on? Something was on camera, or we won't even find the camera. Just imagine. So, but the media at the same time, like we know that the media is going to drive its ratings up when it talks about controversial subjects, right? Whenever anytime it scares you. And what scares white folks like black folks organizing and unifying, right? In the streets, burning shit, fucking burning down, a precinct. So you need to match my unapologetic blackness with, like, you know what, fuck that. I'm totally with this, with justice. I'm on the side of justice. Let me make this happen. I can do this. Some of y'all white folks are in an incredible space, you know what I mean, that you just not even working it. You done seen so many black folks, you know, out here in the world get railroaded at jobs, you know, banks, institutions, you know. I mean, there's not possible that a lot of y'all haven't had that happen. You know what I mean? So we got to go through that, you know, on that process, and y'all have to be called out and in such a direct way, right? But you need to be strong. You need to take that, you know, and so because we don't have any choice, we never have any choice in that particular matter. So I want to be really clear, you know, and I want to get to two pieces. I want to do two pieces on here that needs to be like, just when we talk about uprisings, don't confuse them with a riot. They're uprisings. You tell me about an uprising or any type of resistance, any form of rebellion that's out there that didn't burn some shit. And you totally knew this, and you were with that when you were in history schools. Yep, they were okay. They were totally undermined. All right, they were getting killed. You know, they didn't have access to quality housing. You know, A, B, all the way to Z, and so on and so forth. You totally was with it. Same thing with Hong Kong. So let me turn this and be clear straight with my community. Don't allow them to change the narrative. Don't allow the media to change your narrative. Listen to your organizers who are working, you know, we're working overtime right now, you know, for y'all. Working overtime. Like, I didn't get any sleep. Like yesterday, I didn't get any sleep, you know, because we had to organize. We had to organize on my team so we could show up on Sunday. We had to figure out, like, okay, do folks, you know, they need security? Well, damn, when we do security, well, then goddamn, I can't lend my hands to the food distribution. So we giving out vegan food, right? For the protesters, you know, in Harlem, and who's organizing? These are folks, you know, who've been Black Panther Party members. These are folks who've been young lords. These are these folks who've done this work before and are continuing to do this work. Don't question the work. Stop questioning the work online. You feel me? Like, when you heard that Trump, and you probably heard this recently, and you might not have heard it, that Trump this morning, you know, had reported that, okay, you know, we're gonna change the Trump rally date in Tulsa, Oklahoma, from on Juneteenth, which is June 19th, to June 20th. You heard that. Let me understand. Let me help you understand something. So he heard that because you listen to the quote. He done heard from some black folks, and they were like, "Listen, we need to. I'm a supporter of you. You know how the Negro conversation probably went. I'm a supporter of you, but you're doing it right on Juneteenth. You're making it really difficult. Now he's showing his true colors, Negro, that he's racist, and that any step back in any form is diametrically opposed to any type of justice. Justice seekers um, are not going to be calling this anything other than an uprising. They're going to see Trump for exactly, you know, what he is, but totally understand that, you know, even folks who have a problem with Trump might not also be friendly, might not necessarily be friendly. Telling black folks who to vote for is a no-no. That's the first thing y'all should actually, we should probably leave with that, you know, because of the times. Don't tell us who to vote for. Matter of fact, let us tell you who to vote for. We telling you that's the next. That's what we doing. We tell you who we gonna vote for, and then you know. Because if you align with the folks who are on the bottom, who are oppressed the most, who have the most to gain, we're gonna totally change the whole entire system. Don't it look totally different? Don't you? Aren't you totally happy that we no longer in slavery, and you ain't even gotta feel more guilty than you pretending to be right now, right? So if you and it, don't it feel like, oh snap, we connecting, with people. We not enslaving people. Don't that shit feel dope? Well then, tell you what, get on a lifeline, get on a long term movement to support Black lives, right? So even if the hashtag of BLM or Black Lives Matter, kind of goes out, or whatever, because some of these, I'm not just for just defunding the police in New York and the NYPD in New York City by $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's not enough. But listen, hey, I am totally with that. We can start there because this when organizers, speak, when organizers are discussing, we must understand and we connect. If I'm talking to somebody who totally can't hear me, first off, he's not even moving and thinking dialectically, like how to actually change the conversation, how to help me understand where he's coming from, right? For a number of reasons. We can't deal with that. Well, that's just not the organizer that we need to be, talking about or building with. Because sometimes people just, they just got issues with you. There might be some folks on here like I hate him when he talk about that vegan stuff. God damn it. Some of that stuff is cool, but I don't like when he talking about the vegan stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about the vegan stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we talking about a whole new world where people are respected, where we don't have borders, where we don't have it where we ripping the skin off of animals' backs to wear their fur. That just sounds weird, you know. But it doesn't just sound weird; it's just a weird ass practice. So, and there are a lot of folks that already get that. So if you get that, you totally can get why cops should not be even being aggressive with us. Anytime they're aggressive with us, anyway, in any way, shape, or form, you need to be like this. They don't even talk to us right. You need to go in and be like this. Hold on a second. You need to treat them with respect. It starts with that, about covering all bases, not just the physicality, not just when it gets physical, like, oh my goodness, they got killed. Now I want to get out in the street. No, you needed to be stopping that way before. Way before. You understand? So now, because the uprising, I don't need to go into propaganda. It's propaganda, and anything we do, black family, anything we do, right, that doesn't push up and raise up black justice, black love, saying that black is beautiful, is white supremacy. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what that is. That's what we dealing right now. We living here, even if when white folks are being nice to us. Even when y'all are being nice and y'all are being cool and y'all are giving shit, we still sitting in white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? We sit here, right? And I think a lot of y'all didn't want to recognize that, for a long time. And y'all don't want to accept that, for whatever reason, but like, yeah, like it's possible that that's the case because we came out of slavery, right? Right? Came here, we wanted to get some funds and we talking about segregation, right? Um, we right. We talking about vagrancy laws, right? We talking about we even talking about the modern laws. I tend to bring up quite a bit because when I was fighting, I would have to jog, and they created a law where the cops can stop you when you're running, right? We know they ain't stopping white folks because they think they coming from a crime. They stopping black folks. We see the data, we see the information. They stopping black and brown folks. So, and that's a law that's in, in New York. So if we would listen, if we weren't in white supremacy, that kind of law wouldn't even be on the books. It wouldn't even be on the books. We didn't. We if we were in white supremacy, we wouldn't even having this discussion. We wouldn't even be having a conversation about how that even look. You know what I mean? Like when white folks are oh, well, what did he do? What we talking about? What crime he might have done? With what? First off, like we should stop even talking about how good they were. They were so on and so forth. Uh, um, he didn't do this, this and so on. Like that's just propaganda. They just want to get you into a conversation. So anything that he kind of did, wrong. Well, see, but he wasn't perfect. So he wasn't perfect. If he was perfect, then I can totally see. Fuck that. Like nobody's out here perfect. Nobody's literally out here perfect. You know what I'm saying? So even when we're here, we're waiting, and now white folks, Karens or whoever we calling them, are calling the police on us. Understand this. The fact that we're waiting for them to call the police is y'all talking about we need to let them organize themselves in their community. Let me tell you what I'll be doing if I'm organizing white folks. Okay? First off, we telling them to go ahead and, you need to fucking really talk to that person, right? You need to talk to them so fucking much that they feel like, you know what? I'm not gonna have this fucking party. I'm not gonna have this event here. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna live in this community. You need to make fucking racists feel so fucking uncomfortable that they fucking pack up and leave. Not change, because I don't want to hear about motherfuckers made change. That they leave. You got Maggie, right? A lot of folks, know Maggie. She did the Veggie Pride Parade. That motherfucker was asking me to be in the Veggie Pride Parade for some years now. I've not gone, and I'm good. I'm glad that my subconscious prevented me from going. You know what I mean? Because I would be trying, like, okay, I'm gonna try to go, but it was always just a bad time. Fuck that shit. Now I'm like super on it. Now all the, you know what I'm saying, Veg Fest organizers got to be like, damn, Maggie done fucked it up for us. And shit. You damn right. I'm telling all types of black folks, but some of y'all, I don't know what y'all gonna do, if y'all gonna be there or not. But in any case, I'm not supporting that. And y'all ain't even going hard on her. You know what I'm saying? She thinks she gonna do this shit next year. She really thinks she gonna pop up in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let me tell you, that's gonna be funny as hell. That's gonna be funny as hell. When you talk about we gotta disrupt that. Disrupt that. Just in turn, like that same person wanted me to run for president on the Humane Party. The same person who wanted me, that's right, wanted me to run as president on the Humane Party. Wanted me to be the president of the whole fucking country that she's in. Like, how can that crazy ass woman think that somebody that I'm diametrically opposed, you know what I'm saying, to is on equal footing. Like she could go ahead and be supportive of Trump, and then also, supportive of, of me also being president. Sounds like she's not even clear on anything intersexual. Okay. You know what I mean? So be very clear, about a lot of folks. And so that's why we have this particular system, right? So Maggie's been acting cool for a long time. So I'm gonna talk to black folks right now. Talk to black folks. Family. So she was acting cool the whole time. You know what I'm saying? She's just fucking racist. Straight racist. Ain't over there under the guys trying to pretend that, oh no, this is another way of looking at it. No, this is another racist way of looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the truth. You ain't lying. I just had to pin that that comment, Hunter. So I had to pin that comment. Yeah. So we need folks to actually do the work. So it's great. We get that, like pump everybody up. Yeah. But definitely as soon as they start coming, the Veggie Pride Parade, just gonna turn that around. just go ahead and just turn that around. Just turn that around. Back out of town. Back on the, you know what I'm saying? Over here. And y'all need to get up and West Coast. Make a stay in the house. Shit, we about to be dangerous to racists. It's a dangerous time. Uh, and I mean in terms of like, mentally. We ain't physically gonna whip her ass, but if any sisters want to kind of just, I don't know, um, you know what I'm saying? So really, and we don't want the sisters to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Sisters go ahead and chill. You know what I'm saying? Any other white women want to whip her ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I ain't telling y'all to do anything, but I mean, she really, like, honestly, I really feel like if I'd have been at any one of the Veggie Pride parade, they'd have been like, well, we ain't listening to you because you was at, you know what I mean, at this racist, event, and she's a big racist. So, but anyway, we'll leave them alone. But that's just an example. That's just an example. A lot of the folk, but also when we talking about black issues, the issues that you don't even understand, that you totally, oh, well, I'm not too sure. Like, don't worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that. You know why? Because you don't worry about it when elephants go start trampling, people in circuses. You totally get that. You totally understand it. And I totally understand that. You totally get that shit. So when we go and trampling fucking racists out here and shit, you know what I'm saying? You need to be like, same energy. Same energy. When the deers are attacking, they're killers, who got a sniper on them, you need to come with the same energy. You need to be like, oh, fuck humans or fuck white racists. You need to come with that same energy. Same energy. Same thing. When the bull starts gets sense to start attacking the matador, you need to be like, that's what he would be doing. That's what we need to be doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you need to have the same energy when black folks want to get racists up out of here, just like the bull want to make sure they destroy the matador. Racism need to be destroyed. We can't pull it off for another like 60 years. So we're gonna put racism off about 55 years. We'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's real. We talking about 1964 civil rights. 1964. Only 1964. That's 56 years. Damn. We talking about 65. We're not even sure what's going on with the voting rights. They created an act, right? The Voting Right Act, and we getting so much voter suppression. Listen, I can't. Y'all need to be riled up and ready to go. I mean, as many people that's on here, I mean, we should already had the 25 G's in the GoFundMe and went past that. And the folks who need to have the funding should be having the funding. We should be in such a space and such a place to know already, that we have allies that we can totally trust and believe. We need allies who know law, who are attorneys. We need the same. We need allies who are in the medical profession. We need allies, who are in finance. I got some folks where you need to get them housing. And folks in real estate. We need to streamline, all of this. We need folks like you. When you work in a particular business, use your resources to advance the movement. For folks who are unapologetically, black, who are working on these particular issues. When we did Black Veg Fest, we barely had any funding. We didn't have any funding. We really didn't have funding. Everything had to be creative. But when you're poor working class, you really have to be so creative with the resources. I'm just a believer. I'm just a person who's just always optimistic. You can't fault me for being optimistic. I'm always going to be, trying my best to be optimistic. Folks need to hit my Patreon, because, hit my Patreon, please. That's the work that's going to sustain. Shout out to people who are on my Patreon and they've been on my Patreon. It's not a lot, but shout out to those 15 people who are on there. Hopefully when I get off, there'll be 25. But shout out, like y'all are really holding things down. Like that's, you know what I mean? And I believe, well, first, Black folks gonna do it. We gonna do it. And I got some organizing opportunities for Black folks, for the Black community, and so we're organizing a march, right? So Latinx folks are, and many of them are from the African diaspora, but they're supporting, Black folks unapologetically and get up there because they've been doing this work. So we're talking to elders, right, on Sunday. So they're going to be protesting for Black lives on Sunday at 1 p.m. I've been posting this, a number of places. I want to try to post it here. I hope I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure what I'm doing. If somebody else wants to do that, folks can. So just in terms of having that flyer, that's so necessary. If folks can be there, like white folks are, yeah, I mean, like some of y'all are bright, right? Like incredibly bright. And some folks knew. I'll have to give a shout out, UK Veg Fest. UK Veg Fest, and we came out incredibly Black, with Black Veg Fest, right? And UK Veg Fest said, oh yeah, we with that. So one of the oldest, Veg Fest out there, one of the oldest vegan festivals, if it's not the oldest, right? And so they made sure we got out there. And once they did that, and this is what I'm talking about, how white folks need to be using their privilege. And y'all all have privilege. I don't give a fuck how poor you are. You know what I mean? Like you have privilege. Whether you use it or not, it's something totally different. But UK Veg Fest, make sure they put that out there, and then Live Kindly, follows suit behind them. I haven't seen too much of Live Kindly, recently, but Veg News have been supportive. Mercy for Animals. That's a short list. I've seen a lot of so-called celebrities, white celebrities, start following me, but I haven't seen resources. I've seen some folks who have supported, on they support in terms of speaking and saying things, but I need to see the support that's tangible. Because it's about tangible support. If we're saying we for Black women, then we allow space and we make sure we center Black women. Black women get centered, at Black Veg Fest. They doing most of the work. When we talk about the protests right now, Black women are running that around the nation. That's just a fact. It's not a thing that we need to wrestle with or be like, no, we just need to, as I was talking to my queen, Nadia, that we need to also, when she was telling me and struggling with me, that we need to make sure we ask, sisters, do you need anything? Can we support you? And then folks need to be able to turn that around, because when you understand and recognize masculinity, you recognize that that women, or that anyone that you're in a relationship with, people come to you, right? They come and they connect with you. So I was like, when this dude was talking about masculinity in such a way that he felt like, no, I need to be tough. I need, what I'm saying? We need to be doing, I'm like no, like people give you, and volunteer their love for you or their support, and they do these things. If you can't get folks to be voluntarily submit, to yourself within, you're really just forcing them. You know what I mean? I voluntarily submit to the movement, to organizing with Black people, even at the time when Black folks might not even know, who we are on what we're doing. That's the nature of the organizer. It's always been. Harriet Tubman was saving people, and they weren't even in the mindset, that they were being saved. You understand? Like in more ways than one, they didn't recognize it. So that's kind of the understanding when we center, we center Black women, um, regardless of what issue we have with this one or that one. Y'all personalize shit so much. We don't need to personalize, every single thing. Like, goddamn, I got treated bad, by that Black woman that one time, or I got treated bad, by this particular person. No, don't be telling me about, um, any of those situations. They don't make sense. So, any case, so we just need people to center on the work, and support the actions that we're going to have. If you go to blackvegsfest.org and you sign up in the pledge, you're not just signing the pledge and just saying some stuff. You're literally saying what resources you have and that you can make available. That's what's necessary. Those are the things that become important. So take heed, of that. So we're not just doing so at 1 p.m. Sunday, we're doing a march, and this is for Black and brown folks. And I need y'all to, connect. If you can't find exactly how to work with us on that, connect with me. We don't need a whole bunch of white folks coming there. You know what I mean? I'm serious. It's a Black-led march, community. You know what I'm saying? Respect space, Black, Indigenous, POC space. Respect that space. If you come, to that march looking to participate right where we are, just not respecting, space. And sometimes you're trying to figure out where you are. The times that I'm trying to figure out where I am, where I need to be. Like one time I was working for this overnight homeless, outreach, organization. And most of the folks who were homeless, or a significant percentage, were folks who were trans, that were Black and brown trans. Most of the folks were Black trans, and so I hadn't seen, them, organizing a particular space. I haven't seen, so the Black trans, folks, or just Black femmes, organizing that space. And so the idea that I'm thinking in my mind is to let them have their space. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, I've not seen them be so happy and so joyful except when they're among themselves. I'm gonna say that one more time so it has a rippling effect with you. I hadn't seen them so happy. I haven't seen Black trans so happy except when they were with themselves. They were by themselves, and they were building, and they were connecting. And so that's important for folks to recognize that, right? So because when we don't recognize, the joy people have, and reconnecting, and people understanding their mental and their physical anguish, then we really just fuck shit up for them. And trying to push ourselves in there to either learn more about them, or to even, like fellowship with them, be like joy with them. Nah, a lot of them, be like, yo, you come through. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do is just, really just support, and folks don't even know how to support. So, and I'm pretty sure, because support is just, the one of the main things is listening. A lot of people don't know how to listen. You know what I'm saying? Shit, y'all about to have me going to. So anyway, but and so there's a lot of tips. So what I'm going to be doing here, and I'm going to bring this to a close. I've been on here for a bit. I'm glad y'all, most of y'all have been, with me. The opportunities to get into the work are there. There was a woman who sent resources yesterday. I'm not gonna say her name. She might want to be remain anonymous. To help us with work in terms of getting in Tulsa. So we can't get into Tulsa. So I'm poor, working class. I'm poor, you know, which means that if we don't have a significant saving, if we do have a saving, that when we leave a job, there's not funds in an account that can sustain us for months at a time. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of folks who are poor, when you're talking about housing issues, you're talking about healthcare issues, proper access. But what's on the mind of organizers all the time is that, and I'm always saying it, damn, if I'm going through this, there's probably people going through even more. You know what I'm saying? And so it's what keeps us moving and doing the work. If I can do the work, you got to just do fucking half of it. You doing, and that's the shit. That can be a shitload of work for you. You know what I'm saying? So, so support those actions. June 14th action. That's tomorrow. Action June 18th to the 20th. Those dates might change since it was that Trump rally was pushed back. So we just may need to just support folks there on the ground. So there's work for folks to do, and it's long-term work that we're doing as well. There's things for you to do. Don't ever think that there's not stuff, for you to do. We can make that happen. I want to thank Hunter, so much, for this. I hope you're okay with me using your name interchangeably, Hunter or Gwenna. If not, please do let me know. So I definitely want to thank everybody who was on here. So there's action steps. The first thing is fucking easy. I cursed quite a bit. I was so happy to find a partner who was just totally okay with cursing. Not that I've had really that many I'm saying, like partners who really didn't like fucking cursing and shit. But it just I just feel comfortable, with it. And so, and I use it, excuse me, I'm using it. I know some of y'all might have sensitive ears in regards to that, but I end up, saying that, and because it makes me even more comfortable, to just kind of put that out there. So y'all got it. So hit my Patreon. So where I'm getting, enough funds where like I can continue to be in, have to speak unapologetically and principle. I'm gonna do it anyway, but god damn it, y'all don't know, y'all don't found that out. You know what I mean? So even when he broke, you know what I mean? Like we literally turned down. You tell me where they doing that out. This ain't this and I love the example, with Master P, was, Universal, I think it was, who they approached and they were trying to give him $1 million, you know what I mean? And he was saying that his brother was like, well, take the million. Like this, how much you think I'm worth? I'm worth more than that, worth more than $1 million. You know what I mean? If these white folks, want to give me $1 million, I'm probably worth like, 50, at least 10. You know what I'm saying? So, but we going a step further because we don't have a contract. We not been offered $1 million. You know what I mean? We offering resources where we have none. Or I'm offered resource where where I have none. So, and we're gonna keep the work up, regardless if I get the right amount of funds. Regardless if I get the right amount of the funds, we're gonna keep the work up because why? Because Harriet Tubman is looking at me. Sojourner Truth is looking at me. Shirley Chisholm, is looking at me, and maybe Asada Shakur was watching, from Cuba, in Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and all of our folks who were doing the work, and they got critique when they were doing the work. But they kept their head down and they kept doing that work. And so now you remember those folks. And then I'm gonna end it off this, and say, Don't be that person in history organize, you know, caught arguing with folks who were literally on the ground. You know, the activists who are doing the work. Be that person where it's like, oh shit, yeah, I was shouldering them up. You know what I mean? I was making sure I supported, or I was in the streets. I was doing the work. I was putting the resources, to use. Okay. So thank you very much, Gwenna. Y'all got things to do. Definitely love you, sis, for providing that space. I'm hoping that more folks do that, and have some folks for me to actually speak to too. I'm not going to speak to these tiny groups. I've been doing this hella long, and I definitely don't want to keep reteaching the same messages. So this information is on here. It's out there and it's available to everyone. So you could always check it and take it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Peace, respect. You could check. Just go to my Patreon. Go to my Patreon. Go to the GoFundMe. Or the different forms. Is different work that needs to be sustained and developed. But I need folks to fill out the form, and so they can help with the actions. At the end of the day, that's going to be more important than the money. So much more important than the money. Can you be organized? Can you create resources that really understand where you understand vegan intersectionality? I didn't really go over to intersectionality, but just understand that there's many oppressive forms that overlap with other folks. So when we talk about fighting for working class rights, well, let's talk about fighting for immigrant rights. Let's talk about fighting for Black justice. Let's talk about fighting for Palestinians. Let's see injustice anywhere in the world and eradicate that shit. Stomp it the fuck out. Right now, we've been really soft with it, but we gotta bite down and get it the hell out of here.